finally, I'm going to leave you with some work that you can do on your own. Towards the end of your packet, you'll see this resource referred to called the SIOP. We talked about that earlier, the Sheltered Instruction and Observation Protocol. And this is a checklist that I've used with teachers. Grace and I have both done a lot of training with this model. We love it because it takes all the best practice components for ELLs, which are also good for all students. And what you can do is you can self-assess using this checklist and say, do I write the content objectives every day for students? Do I write the I can statements? I hope so. But am I also thinking about the language objectives? I'm also thinking about how I'm going to have them read, write, listen, speak, and maybe use the WIDA descriptors to help you. Building background. There's a lot of things that we need to do to build background or activate because sometimes they already have that background in their first language, but we need to connect to it to know what they have and how we can build on it. Strategies are huge. Having kids use all the strategies we know are really important for students when we think about when we think about Bloom's taxonomy and we think about providing access. We need to be thinking about scaffolding and how we can gradually release, provide enough support so they can get there. And then interaction, I talked about that before with cooperative learning. That's extremely important, and we want to provide opportunities for that to happen all the time. Not all the time during every lesson, but every lesson provide opportunity for them to chunk and chew what they're learning. And using group configuration so they have language models, so they have other students that can help them and be really good models for them in English. We talked about hands-on, that's really important. And we talked about lesson delivery. This is kind of a repeat of the first component as far as objectives. And engagement we know is really important. The WIDA descriptors too, the can-do descriptors, can be very helpful for reviewing an assessment because we want assessments to be hands-on and authentic. So again, the can-do descriptors can help think about how you could provide opportunities for them to do something beyond a paper and pencil test. Can they point if they're level 1? Can they follow directions? Can they match something and show you that they know the content? Do they have to write an essay? Not necessarily. What are the other modalities we can tap into to have them show us what they know? So this is a very helpful tool for educators. This book is amazing. It has all sorts of strategies for each of these components. So for example, if you're looking for problem-solving strategies, you can look in this book and you're going to find ideas for how to teach that for ELLs. I love this book. It's on my bookshelf. I refer to it all the time when I'm helping teachers or when I'm instructing students on how I can provide some scaffolding for them. So we highly, highly recommend that one. And we've put the sheltered instruction components here in your PowerPoint. If you want to go through these on your own, we hope to actually provide a follow-up online module of SIOP. We're running out of time for this one, and this is really the background building course. So the next one would be the SIOP course. But if you'd like to look at it on your own, you can scroll through the PowerPoint and take a look at it. We're going to go through, the PowerPoint will go through the first 5 components, the ones in blue, and give you a lot more information than my quick overview. It goes through what's the difference between content and language objectives, how to do them, what other things to think about when you're preparing a lesson. Okay, all sorts of things. I'm flying through this. But then it goes through background building. So how do you do that? And then looking ahead, comprehensible input, thinking about the things that we need to do to provide comprehensible input for students. And then strategies. There's a lot in here about strategies that I highly recommend, thinking about all these different kinds of strategies that we are aware of when we're planning for any student. And the difference between instructional and learning strategies, and definitely some hands-on strategies that you could use right away with students. So I'm not going to go through this all the way because it is a whole nother class, but it's here if you want to look at it on your own. Okay, so I encourage you to do so. And one final thing, actually 2 final things in your handout. If you scroll up, you're going to see this. This is from the Department of Public Instruction, and this goes through each language level and gives kind of a succinct overview, much like I had on the PowerPoint presentation. But this is a nice one to print out too and keep nearby when you're lesson planning, just to keep in mind, like, what does it mean holistically to be a level 4? What does it mean holistically to be a level 2? And so forth. The last thing I wanted to share with you was at the very end of your handout. where you have these videos. So if you go here, you're going to find people using SIOP strategies, using any one of these strategies with kids. And it's really more useful, I find, to show teachers what it looks like to build background effectively, what it looks like to have interaction planned effectively, what does it look like to have content and language objectives done well. So again, this YouTube set, this YouTube link right here is going to be really helpful for you if you would care to learn more about that. But otherwise, that is all that we have for this presentation. I would like for you to consider going back to your KWLS. What is it that you might write on here as far as what you've learned? Anything that you want to take with you? And then what is it that you still want to know? Because we could only delve into this very superficially. This is a huge topic, but I'm hoping that you were able to at least glean a couple things here about what you learned, and then maybe you have some more questions about what you still want to know. We know how important it is to have solid lesson closure, so please take the time to do this to cement your learning, and then perhaps go forth with some other questions and get them answered from people that you work with. Again, I hope that this course was useful for you, and I thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck serving your ELL students, and more importantly, serving all of your students. Bye.